Okay.
And we're live.
Hello.
Better late than never.
So somehow the longer we do this, the more technical issues. But this was my fault because I'm in our very messy office right now. So sorry about that.
Welcome to Hump Day and the wisdom of the Yoni.
Woohoo! Perfect little segue in. Hump day.
Y'all, this thing is gonna drive me nuts. Like, I don't know where to put this.
Like, I don't know what to do with my hands. I don't know what to do with this.
I don't know what to do with this. Okay. So we're here, we're live. I don't know how to work a PC anymore because Macs are live. Go Macs! And so I'm stuck in a headset because I don't know how to turn up the volume. So anyways, we're super excited to do this week. And so we're going to go into different Yoni practices that we have. I'm sure Sarah has researched some incredible things for us that we're going to dive into more. And I'm sure Crystal has some awesome practices as well. So we'll dive right in. Crystal, I feel like this is your jam. You want to do a little bit of an intro?
Yeah, I just want to share with everybody that, you know, the definition of the yoni and where it comes from. So the reason we're saying the word yoni and not vagina or pussy or
vulva
or vag or vulva or whatever is because we're coming from a place of Sanskrit. And this is the definition in which it comes from, the practice, teaching, and religion of Shivaism. So that's a branch of Hinduism, and that is a way that we worship. Worship Shiva and Shakti. Shakti is the representation of the feminine energy on the planet, and in that teaching, and Shakti or the Yoni is the symbol of Shiva or Shakti. Sorry, and Shiva is the counterpart to Shakti. So the together, they represent the whole eternal process of creation and regeneration.
Lovely. I want to say, Crystal, that picture that you posted on the Facebook group
that
Tessa had commented on, that was like so awesome. How it matched with the larynx and the vocal cords. And that it's all aligned. So I was like, how cool that where it starts and where it ends.
And the fact that it makes so much sense that's why blowjobs are so important to men, because it's like the same parts just happening in a different area, right?
I didn't think of that.
I know, it's crazy.
That's so true. Holy crap. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, really amazing how our bodies are. I mean, it's just a reminder to me of the interconnectedness of all of our parts and how our bodies we're speaking from this, but if we really tune in to what's going on in the yoni, in the womb, it has a lot to say too. Mm-hmm. And that's what I feel like we're going to discover today.
Yeah.
So I just started a yoni practice like maybe 3 weeks ago. And as I'm going through it, I'm trying to work. I had babies. And so what's it called? What's it called when your abs are separated? Starts with a D. I can't remember the name of it. Anyways, so my abs are still separated like 2 to 3 inches in some spots where, I don't know if anyone else has done this, but you can't see my stomach. But what I'm doing is I'm sticking my fingers in. So you can either do 1, 2, 3, 4, and in your belly button and push and kind of like, while you're laying down, kind of lean up so you can see if there's a gap in between your ab wall. And so it's a part of your pelvic floor, working all those muscles together. And so I'm trying to fix that gap and sync it back together, because as you're pregnant, it opens up so that the baby can fit. That's why we can get so round and so big, right? And so I thought it was really interesting. The one that I'm doing, there's 3 separate parts of your vagina that you can squeeze the muscles. So she said the first muscle is going to be kind of like your throat. The second muscle is going to kind of be like your tongue, and the third muscle is like your lips. So same thing, going back to like that picture you're talking about. So one of the practices is 10 seconds squeezing each part of the 3 parts. And before that, I had no idea that there were like different muscle groups that were happening down there. So just like anywhere else doing resistance training with weights, you're doing it with your yoni eggs and trying to pull against those 3. So that was cool.
I have a couple of things on that one. So one, I noticed as I go to the gym and I'm seeing my abs develop, there's like, it seems like they kind of counter. They're like lopsided, and it's been bugging me. And I'm like, why is it like there's one ab here and one ab here, and it like disappears on the other half of the body? So I wonder if that's something to do with that then.
Do you feel it? If you put your fingers right in between your stomach, like lean back, like loose, like just relaxing, and then really dig your fingers in your belly button and then like flex. So like me, I can feel like a very distinct ab walls on both sides of my fingers. I think it's diverticulitis, but that sounds like that's something else.
That sounds like a disease.
That's when the intestine walls get, or infected, when your intestines get.
That's not right. That's not right.
Second thing is, how do you know? You said you have to like kind of intermittent flexing those 3 different muscles. How do you feel and know a different? Like I feel like I can just tighten and untighten. So how do you do 3 different? How do you feel 3 different muscles down there?
So one of them is actually feeling in there, so you can feel the different squeezing. But one you should feel like almost closer to like the bottom of your stomach when you're squeezing, and then like for me, I really have to focus on the energy. So it's at the top, the middle, and then the bottom. And just like the more you can squeeze it and like ripple it down, the stronger you're working those muscles, which is all it really is muscle groups, right?
With the yoni egg, is that the only way you can really like, you're feeling the difference? Or is this without?
I mean, the whole thing, we're getting into it. So there's so I have a pink quartz wand. And so just like how you foam roll your body, you're supposed to foam, like not foam roll, but crystal roll in there and loosen the muscles up. And then as you're going through it, the way this girl, she's so awesome. So she has the egg with a string. So it has to be a drilled yoni egg. And then she has a string go through it. And then she has a luggage scale, like, you know, the digital luggage scale. And so you're pulling and your yoni is pulling and you're pulling the scale the other way. So you know exactly how many pounds, ounces, or whatever you're pulling in each area. So you put it all the way to the top with the wand, pull, see how much you're pulling with the scale, move it halfway down, pull, see how much you're pulling with the scale, and then towards the very bottom of your, like where your lips are, and then pull, squeeze, and pull is the whole thing.
So you have your egg, and then you have the wand.
Well, so the wand is before or after, just making sure that the muscle groups are loose. So you have your yoni egg. I wish I had mine. I'm at the office right now. So let's say this is your yoni egg, and this is your string that comes off, right? So your string, you put the strap around for the luggage weight that you would put around your luggage handle. And then so you pull the luggage handle and with the scale, and while also squeezing the egg inside your yoni and seeing what force you have. So you're actually getting resistance training.
I love that.
Super crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know what her full name is, but it's Sharni and Julius is the couple that runs it. Really sad I can't figure out what that gap is called.
She's still on that one.
I am.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, I know you can do like the weighted with, if you have the drilled with the string, and you can add weights and like even do almost weight training with your yoni for sure.
Yeah, I know. That's crazy.
Have you ever
so it's diastasis recti for whoever wants to know the official name. Diastasis recti is when you form that gapping and your ab wall never completely closes back up after you have babies.
That sounds like it has something to do with the rear end.
Diastasis, I mean, it kind of is, right? It's the pelvic floor. They're all connected.
Yeah.
Like when your diastasis recti is apart, I feel like that's when you like jump and accidentally pee yourself or like laugh too hard and it's just like, nee.
They have surgeries for that now.
I know they do. It's part of the tummy tuck.
The mommy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really interesting because if you look at it, there's certain exercises that you shouldn't be doing if you have that ab gap, like planks and like sit-ups. You're not supposed to do traditional sit-ups or anything, crunches, things like that actually hurts the ab wall from connecting back. So it's a lot of breath work, bringing it back together. And then there's this one where you like you like blow all the air out to where like you are about to die a little bit and just squeeze the top part of your stomach. But
I can feel that.
Yeah, it's intense.
That's
so diastasis recti, not what we're talking about today, but it's all a part of the region. But look it up because there's some crazy exercises to get that mommy gap back together.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So in these exercises, you can repair it?
Oh, totally.
Okay.
Yeah. There's like a Nature Mama might be the app. That's another really good one. I'm really good at starting these and then I don't do anything with them after a couple weeks. So there's quite a few of them out there, but a lot of them is always pelvic floor strengthening and repairing your diastasis recti. So it's all going together.
Okay.
So, yep.
Have you guys ever used an undrilled yoni egg?
No. Clarify what that is.
So
where it doesn't have the hole
without the string. So
yeah,
it's like the solid egg, no holes drilled, no string, and yeah. So that's the photo that I put up, which was really cool. And you're like, we need to like redo this photo. I like re-imitate it because it was a really cool one of the girl laying down with all the yoni stones like covering her area. It was so cool. But that came from an article talking about drilled or undrilled, drilled versus undrilled. And so she was talking about a lot of people just get scared, like it's going to get stuck up in the abyss and not ever be found again. And so she was just talking about the benefits of it and that, and I don't remember now what all she said, but she kind of upgraded from the drilled to the undrilled. And she's shown quite a few benefits if you get to the undrilled. But to me, it is kind of like the, almost like, why I don't switch to the cups or the discs for like the menstrual stuff because I'm always like, ugh, I gotta dig around and try to find it and get it out.
No, you push with your pelvic floor. You like push and then it like just peeks out just enough that you can pull it out.
Oh, I thought.
Did you know that the average woman creates 10,000 pounds of trash during her period? That made me cry a little bit. Yeah. From like tampons, applicators, the stuff that's coming out that we're throwing in the trash, all of that. That's crazy.
That's a lot.
So get a cup.
I like the cup.
I like the cup too.
Yeah.
You have to figure it out. Once you figure it out, it's
digging around. I like digging around in there.
Crystal's like,
you know,
it's not that weak. I am okay with that, but
what did you say?
Maybe not during that week. I'd be okay with that, but it's like, oh, it's so messy.
It is. It can be really messy. But yeah, that I feel that once I started using the cup, I just gained even deeper relationship. And I thought I already had a relationship. And I was just like, now I'm not scared. Yeah, I've got blood everywhere and it's happening. And I'm like appreciating the connection. It gave me some deeper connection for sure. And I feel like there's a potentiality that, you know, it's not even a maybe. There are women on this planet that don't have a connection with their yoni.
Yeah.
It's wild, right? Like what degree of connection do we have? And what can we get from deepening that connection? I think is an interesting question to ponder.
Yeah. So besides the yoni egg, there's also, and we had talked about this, the steaming. to do a Yoni steam with the herbs.
Mhm.
And I was looking at a few different people that have done, and we talked about doing this for extended. We didn't have quite enough time to prep for it, but doing a Yoni steam during the extended, like all together, which I think is still a really cool idea.
Yeah.
And there's actually some girls that have gone on YouTube and they've got videos posted of them doing it and walking you through like how to get it set up, the herbs to use, the benefits of it, and they do the Yoni steam right there on video and everything too. I mean, covered and whatnot, but still. But yeah, I was talking about a lot of them, especially after childbirth, to do that, you know, a couple of weeks once you're kind of more in your safe zone. But there's a lot of just extra trauma and stuff that occurs to your body during childbirth. And that's a way to just kind of help re-regulate your body and get it back to a good stance. And then they also talked about after the menstrual cycle, if you do that, if you wait 3 or 4 days after, then that's like your prime time to do the Yoni steam as well, because it helps clean out and re-regulate you as well. Because it does take, I don't know if you guys have ever had it, and maybe it's TMI, but there's sometimes like where it's 2 or 3 days after and there's like a little bit of residual spotting that's a little darker, and it's because of the leftover whatever. So that's why they tell you to wait like 3 or 4 days after the menstrual to do the Yoni steam. But that's like a prime time to do that. And anybody that doesn't know, there is a set of different herbs, and I didn't write it down, which is unlike me. And I don't know if you guys have. If not, we can post it on the Facebook page. But there is a certain set of herbs that you need to use for that, and you put those in with your and a pot. They actually have some on Amazon. We were looking up Yoni steamers. They have that, or you can make your own and just put those herbs in there with the steaming water and have yourself kind of covered to where it keeps that steam in there. But they did have disclaimers too that if you have it, if you're too close to your pot, the water's too cold and you can start burning stuff. So beware of that. But it is a good way to cleanse. And they've even had some that said, some of girls went on there and said after they did Yoni steams pretty regularly, even after just a couple of times of doing them, they would have really irregular menstrual cycles all the time. And it helped keep them regular. After they started doing that, then they were like on clock every time.
Wow.
Every time. So I thought that was really interesting.
That is interesting.
Yeah. So maybe, like you said, Crystal, there may be something there with a disconnect that they're not even connected. And when you start doing the Yoni steams or even a Yoni egg, you start getting more connected and then you start regulating more after that.
Oh, for sure. No doubt. I mean, it's like the whole ritual of the experience, right? I'm here, I'm listening to you, I'm honoring you, I have reverence, I'm remembering all of the things that I'm going to allow and remember all of the, I mean, just in our own bodies, I'm going to allow and remember all of the wisdom that you have. And then the interconnectedness that can spill over into and unveil with all women of all time, with all feminine energy. I mean, it's a beautiful practice that I've never done, and I can't even wait. You know what I'm thinking is that I really want to ask Brittany for what herbs to do. I'm sure.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, Brittany.
There's a list of only like 5 that they recommend. And like every site that I went to, they list the same ones. But I guarantee you, she's got them. I guarantee you, she's growing them in her whole majestic herb garden.
Yes.
So that's going to be like a massive pin in it for later is if you are a female and watching this, we definitely plan on doing female retreats in the future. And I totally have a vision of us just sitting there and doing like a massive Yoni steam as a sisterhood. It'd be so fucking awesome.
Yes.
Definitely a full moon energy.
For sure.
Outside holding hands, kumbaya around the fireplace on our Yoni steams.
So I don't know if you guys have ever went to a bathhouse, but this is something that we did. So me and my close friends from junior high, we used to do these girls trips for every one of our birthdays. The birthday girl got to pick, and we had to go do it. We've slacked on that a little bit, but we used to do that every single year. And one of the years, I don't remember which girl it was. One of them picked to go to Hot Springs, Arkansas. It's not the only place that has these, but if you've ever went to a bathhouse, oh my God, it's phenomenal. And I feel like this is the one thing that was lacking, and they did almost everything you could do besides a Yoni steam. They take you in and you're like stripped down to just wrapping around in a sheet, and you're walking around and you get in this tub filled with natural hot spring water, and somebody comes in and sponge bathes you, and then you get wrapped up on this like almost like kind of a hospital bed type thing, but they wrap you from the neck down in hot towels and then one across your head, so your whole body is just in hot towels. And then they take you from there to a steam cabinet, and you sit in this like outhouse size cabinet that's made of steel, and it's just full of steam, and all you have is one little door to where your face can open out to get air, but the rest of you is just filling with steam. And then they take you from there to this little seat that is kind of like a bidet, but it's like cold water that it just keeps like flushing you out just on your bottom. And so after all the hot and the steam, and then they have cold water just rushing through you, and then you go to get a massage, and it is like the most relaxing, best massage ever, because your whole body is just like so relaxed by that point. And I'm like, if they added that little step of doing a Yoni steam before the code flush, that would have been so cool.
Oh, wow.
That sounds like the most amazing experience, and also the beginning of a horror movie. Like they wrap you up, they lock you in this tin room, they give you this much to breathe.
Oh my God.
You would, you little scaredy cat. I know, as soon as I'm using the steam cabinet, she's like,
Some Final Destination shit. They don't let you out, and there you go. Bye bye.
Oh my gosh.
I could totally see us doing that on the retreat, though. Good idea. I like it.
And we'll let you out.
No, we won't put you
you'll
in a
be
cabinet. Oh, Lord. Do you guys know, you were talking before about Goop, and so I guess here's a little promo for Gwyneth Paltrow's Goop if you guys haven't watched it yet. I still haven't seen the stuff on Netflix. I don't have Netflix anymore, so haven't seen it. But I was looking up some stuff because she sells Yoni eggs. And I was like, oh, maybe she did something on the Yoni too. So that's what I was looking up before we did this week's thing. And do you know she's actually in the middle of a big lawsuit right now because of her Yoni eggs that she's been selling?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they went ahead and settled, and they have to pay $145,000, which is a drop in the bucket for their
change.
Yeah, they're supposedly Goop is worth like $2.5 million right now, so it's definitely chunk change for her at this point. But it's because they were talking about the benefits of it. And I guess the way they were advertising, so disclaimer for us, so nobody tries to sue us. We don't have scientific research to back the benefits of anything that we talk about here. Because she didn't put that disclaimer and she made it as if the benefits were scientifically proved, they've come back and sued her for that.
Wow.
So I thought that's crazy. And they went ahead and settled for $145,000.
And had they been connected to their yonis, I bet that lawsuit would have never come to pass.
That's what I'm thinking too.
So for you with us, connect and then decide.
Right? That's what I'm like, did you even try the Yoni egg before you tried to go after her?
Oh,
We
man.
didn't get the blissful benefits.
Have you guys, speaking of Netflix, have you guys seen that show? I think it's Too Hot to Handle, where they're just like,
I'm gonna advertise, but I haven't watched it.
they're like super duper all like beyond good looking. And they go to like this island and it's private and it's all these hot guys and hot girls. And so they think that they're just there to party and rage and whatever. And then they drop the bomb that they can't do any kissing, touching, sexual act. They have $100,000 every time they touch or kiss. It takes away from the group's money, right? And so there's one where they separate the males and the females, and they take the females and they have them all in their little like cubby things outside, and they give them a handheld mirror. And they're like, we need you guys to like, have you ever respected your vagina? Do you even know like what she looks like, what she needs? Like, have you ever gone into any depths with her? And so they have to take the mirror and I don't know, like 5-10 minutes, just stare and nothing else. They just stare into the yoni, and a lot of them start crying, and there's like a lot of connection that happens between it. And after that, they give them some paint sets, and they're like, paint a picture of what your yoni wants to represent. And so like some of them were like butterflies, and some of them were like flowers and all kinds of stuff. Some of them were like swords and warriors, but it was really crazy. So silly show, awesome moment.
Yeah, great practice.
Yeah.
Great practice.
I would need to sit with that a little bit before I would be able to create the art of what it said.
Mm.
That's kind of an encouraging practice to maybe encourage our community that's with us to try to do that this week at some point. That would be cool.
Yeah.
Even if you're not artistic, it's just the idea of sitting down and constructing something, being a little creative with what it's saying to you.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, after you have that connection.
Yeah,
Big Pin also going to go into our retreat later on.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
Mm.
I think that's funny you bring that up because even I am 38 now. I was probably 31 before I actually like sat in front of a mirror to see what I looked like myself. Like I went that long. And it was only because I'm married to my husband who deploys a lot. He's military. And so we're sending like photos back and forth. And I'm kind of like, what does he see? And I'm like, let me see what he sees when I'm sending photos. So I just got curious. But I don't think a lot, or not necessarily, I can't speak for other women, but I know there's not a huge majority or like every single woman that does does look and connect and really try to get that connection of who am I, like inside and out, like all of me.
Sarah,
what?
Will you say that again? Because it was cutting out on my end.
Oh.
I wanted to hear that. What did you say?
You're about to get on to me for something.
I know. I was like, whoa.
No, I'm being reprimanded. What did I do? I said I can't speak for every woman, but I feel like definitely not every woman sits down in front of a mirror to look at themselves and to really connect and to know themselves inside and out. Like every single part of me, even the really intimate parts of us. But there is so much power. I mean, that's what gives us power as women versus men. Like they have their own power and we have ours. And the yoni is part of our power. So you need to connect to that. You need to see that.
Thank you.
And I'm not like a girl power kind of person. I'm like, I'm very traditional, but we all have our strengths. And so that's why I'm like, men have their own strengths, and this is one of our strengths for sure.
I love that. Yeah, connecting with the yoni from like a deep place of reverence and remembrance gives us, offers us the realization that our female orgasm has tremendous wisdom and aliveness and can give us connection to even source, connection to the universe. And this is, the feminine energy flowing through us. And it's the channel, the coming anew, the coming over and over again, coming anew. It's like the channel for new birthing creation to come through us all of the time, not just life creation, but, as far as birth, right? But rebirthing and rebirthing and rebirthing each day, or each whatever cycle or, cycle in whatever, not even just like menstrual cycle, but cycle in life. If we can connect to the wisdom of what the yoni is offering us, because she is the channel of creation in our body, a flow and creation. And she's the channel in which life begins to live itself in a new way all the time. It's like so there's like the baby in there, and then it has to come out. And this is like the most transformative moment of our life. Like we went from not even using air to now, boom, like I'm a body that uses air. Like it is the most transformative moment we experience as beings. We literally changed from being like fish humans. We don't need air. Now we do. And the Yoni conducts that. And it's just like, if we can give reverence and remembrance to and connection, love and tenderness, allow ourselves to be with that power, we are unstoppable. We're fucking unstoppable is the way that I see it.
But also, when you're talking to that, it made me think that going from fish to humans, we also are going from complete dependency to independency, like not needing 100% someone else for us to survive. Like that's our freedom.
Yeah. So my first thought during that, though, is the women that can't or choose not to give birth, they choose not to have life. And I know we're talking about the yoni being a big part of creation. And so I'm wondering if there's any, like, I know there's parts of the brain that control creativity, and they've done different studies on why some people are more creative than others. So I'm just wondering, I'm like, I wonder if there's something that lies within the yoni that's also creative energy if you're not creating life, but you're creating businesses or you're creating ideas. And if maybe some of that creation and that creativity comes from the yoni as well.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Scientific research for that, but that's just like a philosophical question that energy probably lies in there for that as well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what part of the brain it is, right? But this is like what I practice and what I help my clients practice is sex magic, is where we're in this place where we allow like what wants to be created arise. And we anchor that in with the wisdom of the yoni and her creative force. But it's like about listening to that in the first place. And it's about, and regardless of childbirth, right? Regardless of childbirth, that's, you know, it's feminine energy is what it represents. It's like, this is feminine flowing through us on the planet. And it can come through as like the warrior, the flower, the butterfly, or all of these different things. And there's just so much wisdom living in there to be birthed out of us. And that is the beauty of having this vessel. I mean, for me, inside of my body, I love having this. I love being in feminine energy. You know, obviously I have my masculine side as well, but you know, I definitely was meant for that in this life, in this time around. I'm totally in love with having this coming anew all the time and connecting to that wisdom that she gives, for sure.
So as you're saying that, that makes me wonder, because when we do give birth to children, whether we have a C-section or it's
vaginal,
I was like, what's the word? Natural? Yeah. Vaginal? Or either way, like you have trauma in your body, right? That trauma lives in your body from going through that physical experience. So I almost wonder if there's something there, and like preface that with, I do have children, so I don't know. But I wonder if there is some sort of creative block that does happen there, because so many people say like pregnancy brain or baby brain after or during they have while they're pregnant or after. So I wonder if that kind of like jars up some of that creative energy that's happening in there. And that would be a really beautiful practice to figure out how to erase that trauma and move back into total flow.
Interesting. Like all the creative energy is going towards creating bones and fucking teeth and skin
and hair
and all that stuff. So it's like my brain is not working. Yeah. Well,
I've lost
that
huge pieces
around it being connected, you know, to our yoni and our, you know, vocal cords and our mouth and our throat and all that, having such similarities. I'd be interested to know what part of the brain. So that's a good research.
Yeah. Because I feel like for me, it was more memory. I have joked, but there is some realness to that. That as soon as I had my first kid, that some of my memory just went out with that child, and then I feel scattered and I don't remember as much, right? Like the memory seeped all the way down and came out with afterbirth. That was part of my afterbirth was my memory, and it was real. And I know we're getting close to time to switch over to the extended, but I also just wanted a little comment because Crystal, when you were talking about the rebirth and the just keep coming and coming rebirth, then it hit me. Part of my north node, if you'll remember, was my 8th house. And part of that north node said that I would experience multiple deaths and rebirths through orgasms. And I was like, I went to Crystal and was like, I don't know what the hell that means. She's like, yeah, interesting. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know, but I'm
the orgasm is
maybe I need to be more in touch with my yoni now. Like,
yeah, and the orgasm is called by another name, the little death. Yeah, so it's just that.
Which I'm energetic, so it makes sense too. I'm an energetic, so
boom, you're in the space where nothing else. You're connected to source if you allow it, right? If you're allowing it, if you acknowledge it, or if you don't acknowledge it, it's happening. But it can, as you too, energetic and a kinky blueprint, both, right? Energetic and kinky. Or
the last time I took it, it switched to all energetic or like higher. It was just energetic.
Yeah. So, I mean, especially an energetic has, and I, gosh, now that's really downloading for me is that this beautiful, I know that you and I we all talk personally about what, to some degree, about our own sex lives, right? And our own orgasms. And I love so much, Sarah, that you reflect how this is a sacred thing between you and Tad, your husband. And it's amazing. I mean, I know we all feel that way, right? That these are sacred things, but energetic is going to sink into that big time because they have the ability to not only show up to the orgasm, but know that this is a prayer. This is a devotion, right? This is so many ways. And I honor you. We surrender to God together right now in this space. And so it is a little death, right? Yeah. It's a little like my ego's not here. I'm just with God right now. I'm just in source. I'm just with spirit. Yeah. That's the way that landed for me when you told me. Rock on, girl. Have all your little deaths. So many deaths.
Love it. So many deaths.
pleasurable deaths. Yeah.
So did we decide what sort of practice or what we wanted to do moving into the extended?
Yeah, I'd like to guide it if it's okay. Are you okay with that, Tessa, if I guide us into some Yoni communication?
Let me think about it.
Can I do a little personal disclaimer for me before we move on to the extended? One little personal. So we opened up with the history of Yoni, and it was part of Hinduism. It was part of a worship practice. So for those that maybe are a little bit more of a Christian background, you don't necessarily have to say worship, but appreciate and learn and have an appreciation. So if you substitute that word itself, you can still appreciate and connect with your Yoni. So back to you, Crystal.
Welcome, sister.
And also, doesn't God say like your body is your temple? That is a huge part of your temple. So are you supposed to worship your body as a temple? I'm not sure. Yeah?
You can. It's just not worshiping it more than your source. So that goes into pride mode where you're putting yourself above source, knowing that source was the one that gave you the body. It's a borrowed vessel.
The body.
The body is borrowed. Because we're all spirit and energy more than we are body. Our body's just here to move us around the earth. So
I see it in a way where, these bodies were created for us, right? They were totally created for us, that we can sense life. We can enjoy life. We can feel pleasure. We can have orgasm. We could die a million deaths. We can laugh and smell and taste and touch. And yeah, to me, the body is such a divine expression of God's love, right? For us to be able to connect with life. We came here, we're doing it. And that is the difference between us being human or not. I mean, we're going to be out of these bodies, out of these human suits at some point, and we're going to go back, us, and do our thing and be in soul form. But as we have a body, it feels to me like my greatest gift, right? The greatest gift I've been given, this fucking expression, like God's art, just fucking creating this thing so that I can walk around and feel all this shit. Even if it feels shitty, I'm still feeling it, and I'm alive. I'm alive. It's all about being alive. So it's the way the body feels to me.
Crystal, I love when you get in your zones.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just watching you like some animated. It's so good. Anyways, go. So good. It's so good. Like, you really feel what you're talking about when you go in your little soapbox. It's like, yeah, feel that with her.
Got a body, and I'm hearing my voice, and I'm like feeling it in my body, and yeah, I'm feeling it. For sure. Okay, so do you guys have something to write with?
I do.
Okay, cool. So I want us to let's jump into what would be the extended. And I want to just take us through a process of communicating with our Yoni and hearing what her beautiful, beautiful messaging is. And since we're live, let's just talk about the container here. I mean, I'm going to ask you guys some questions. You don't have to answer totally specifically. You want to just be a little bit more general, but know what it means to you when you answer. That's fine if you want a little bit more privacy. And I also want to ask that whoever is joining us, like just either follow along in your own.
And maybe get your own thing to write down.
Yes, get your own journal. Or if you're not and you're just listening, please just hold the highest vibration here for all of us as we're in a process. And that's a vulnerable thing. And so we just ask to see the highest good for all of us. Yes, Sarah, I call on you.
So live viewers, if they have something to write on and they're going through, is this something that they can also, if they feel comfortable, to comment some of their reflections, that they can do that as well?
Please. Very good. Thank you. Yes. Yes. That'd be so amazing. What is happening in your own body? What is happening? What are you getting from this? Share away. Great stuff. Okay. So first we're just going to start to breathe. You both have journals. So when you get these insights, I just want you to have that there so that you can write it down, remember, and, reflect, because we know journaling works.
Why it works.
All right. Okay. So deep breaths, erect spine. Start to just feel into the pelvic floor. And start to pulse that pelvic floor. Begin to pulse. Starting in the breath, and just begin as you're pulsing into the pelvic floor. Invite, allow, and welcome this breath to breathe freely without any pressure put on it. Really just sit in Allowing the breath to move through you. Invite, allow, and welcome this breath. Not you breathing it, but it breathing you. Allow the breath to breathe you. And I want you to imagine now an infinity sign in your chest space and in your pelvic floor. We're just going to awaken the energy, subtle movement, kind of moving, a pulsating or moving infinity sign or a number 8, figure 8 in your chest and in your pelvic floor simultaneously. And I want you to allow your body and your breath to move with this figure 8 in a subtle, 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 subtle rocking. Very subtle. Allow breath to connect with this rocking. As you're here, just begin to invite and allow all of you to be whatever's arising as the breath, as the source, as God's source, as the universe moves through you and breathes you. As source moves through you and experiences life as you, feel the delight that it takes in moving through you and living life as Tessa and as Sarah. Connect with what that feels like in your body. Now I want you to take one hand, put it on your heart, and the other hand, put it on your yoni. Just get present with this body sensation. As we're here, we're going to go through some processes, thoughts, some energy work that's happening remotely. I'm feeling you. I'm holding you. Processing with you, seeing you as the master at play that you are. So just get present with the body sensations, connecting to the heart and the yoni at the same time. Start to notice what's arising. Pain, pleasure, thrill, numbness, magic. Anything subtle in that body sensation. What's going on in the heart space? What's going on in the space of your yoni as you connect with intention? As you begin to welcome what it wants to say. Tessa, will you tell me, what is the sensation you're feeling? What is the subtle body sensation?
Anger, actually, was what popped up.
Thank you. What about you, Sarah? Subtle body sensation. Go into your body. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. Go into your body.
So you say sensation. That's what's throwing me off because you say sensation. She said anger. Anger is a feeling to me.
Okay.
So I don't necessarily know for sure what you're looking for.
Okay. Thank you. So to clarify, as you connect to your yoni right now and allow it to be all that it wants to be, as you let her rise in your system and you become aware of her presence. What are you sensing? Any emotion, any body sensation, any thought, any vision?
I have a few. So
Okay.
are we wanting it narrowed to one?
Tell me the most important one, or the one that stands out the most.
Rebirth.
Thank you. Beautiful. Tessa, can you tell me what the size of her presence is? What is the size of the presence of your yoni?
It's very like in my face, pretty big.
Size of your head?
This thing is soccer ball.
Okay, thank you. Sarah, what's the size of her presence?
Medium.
Thank you. And what is the intensity of her energy, Tessa, on a 1 to 10?
8.
Thank you. Sarah? Intensity of her energy.
Same. 8.
Thank you. Powerful yonis. What is the shape that she shows up as, Tessa?
Oval.
Thank you.
My oval soccer ball.
What is the shape she shows up as, Sarah?
Diamond.
What color does she radiate, Tessa?
Red.
And Sarah, what color does she radiate?
Soft pink.
Thank you. How old is her wisdom, Tessa? How many years?
Oh, she said infinite. She's old.
Sarah, how old is her wisdom?
Younger. A teen.
Thank you. All right, here's the young one. Tessa, what is her name?
Yara.
Yes. Oh, cool. Woo! Sarah, what is her name?
Minka.
Thank you. Awesome. Okay, gals, turn to Yara and Minka. Look straight at them. Thank them for being here. Say to them, Yara, Minka, I love you. We are one. You are me. I am you. Tell me, what is your goal for me? And as we're in this and we're working through goals, I'm going to be writing them down. If you all want to stop and write them down as well, that's perfectly fine. So when you ask Yara, what is your goal, Tessa, what does she say?
Safety, protection.
Beautiful.
She's very root. She's red. She's safety.
Right. Can you imagine that done in your mind for me, please? See it done all the way. Sarah, what is Minka's goal?
Power.
Give her what she wants, please. See the power done. Imagine it in your mind. Now I both want you to turn back to this communication with Yara and Minka. Yara, Tessa, I want you to say, Yara, now that you have safety and protection, just like you wanted, what's your next highest goal? What else do you want?
Knowledge.
And how about Minka, Sarah? What is her next highest goal?
Confidence.
Beautiful. Give them what they want. Give your yonis what they want. See it done 100%. Now I want you to turn to them and say, okay, now that you have knowledge and confidence just like you want, what is the next even highest goal? Even higher, even more spiritual.
To create.
Sarah, what does Minka want?
Soulful connection.
Thank you. Give them what they want to create. Soulful connection. See it done 100%. And now I want you to turn to your yonis, Yara and Minka, and I want you to say, now that you have what you want to create and a soulful connection, what's your next highest goal? What else do you want from me, even more spiritual?
Consciousness.
Beautiful. Sarah, what does Minka want?
Ecstasy.
Thank you. Imagine those done. Consciousness and ecstasy. See it done in your imagination all the way. Feel it in your body. 100%. Beautiful. Very good. Very good. Now turn to Yara. Turn to Minka. Say, what is your next highest goal now that you have consciousness and you have ecstasy just the way you want it? What is your next highest goal? More spiritual, even more spiritual.
I'm just getting a picture of like driving.
Does that feel higher than consciousness?
I think what it means is to be in the driver's seat.
Be in the driver's seat. Sorry, excuse me. Thank you. To be in the driver's seat. And that feels higher to you than consciousness?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Sarah, what is her next highest goal?
Fulfillment.
Beautiful. Give them what they want, please. See it all the way done. Driver's seat. fulfillment, totally expanded, huge, fully experienced. And now that they have that, I want you to turn to them and say, now that have the driver's seat, just like you want, and fulfillment, just like you want, what is your next highest goal? Even higher, even more spiritual.
Contribution.
Thank you. What does Minko want, Sarah?
Not contribution. She's selfish. But we're drawing a blank. I've got nothing after fulfillment right now.
Thank you. Stay in fulfillment. Feel fulfillment and be there. Tessa, give contribution to Yara. See yourself in the most contributing ways that you can.
Empowerment.
That's next.
Mm-hmm.
See that done. Great job.
And then I just see a beam.
Light.
I'm not sure if it's grounding, but like from the ground all the way up. It's a huge beam.
Thank you. What does that beam feel like?
Warm.
Warm. Beautiful. I'm going to repeat Yara's goals to you, Tessa. Safety and protection, knowledge, to create consciousness, to be in the driver's seat, contribution, empowerment, in a grounding beam of light that's warm. She lands in a grounding beam of light, of warmth. Sarah, Minka's goals for you: power, confidence, soulful connection, ecstasy, and fulfillment. She lands and ends in fulfillment. Her highest place and expression is fulfillment. I want you both to sit in your highest places and allow the warm beam, Tessa, of Yara's desires to wash over you. Sarah, allow the fulfillment to continue to move through you. I want you both to know that this is where you go to communicate with her. This feeling that you have right now is the essence of her. Thank you. Thank her for sharing this wisdom with you. And now in this space, I want to let us honor the feminine energy that this channel embodies on this planet. And we're going to do this together. Let us honor ourselves first for being the channel and the vessel of feminine energy. Let us give a deep bow now to our mothers, our grandmothers, our great-grandmothers, all of the divine feminine present on this planet, bringing flow and creation. Let us bless our daughters and our granddaughters and all of the future feminine unfolding. Let us thank the healing powers of the feminine breath breathing us into existence moment to moment. Thank you to Kundalini, to Shakti, to Isis, to Mother Mary, to Grandmother Ayahuasca, to Mother Earth. And together, taking a deep bow and honoring to all the feminine energy. Come back when you're ready. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sisters. Thank you.
Definitely felt the feminine energy.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Very strong.
What do you both know now that you didn't know before?
Mine is to fight for my fulfillment a little more. Not wait for it to come to me.
Thank you. How can you anchor that in? How can you do that? What's something you could do today to start to step forward and lean into that?
My natural Capricorn self is like, I can start putting that on a calendar. And then I'm like, no, that's not something to put on a calendar. So I set reminders. No. So for me, it is taking more of the advance in when a mood strikes and not just thinking it and giving clues and hoping that my husband reads those clues. It's just taking more charge.
Thank you. What about you, Tessa? What do you know now that you didn't know before?
I think control is the right word. She wants to be more in control, and she's tired of being hidden. I think that's what the seat was. She's like, I'm gonna drive. I'm like, no, we don't drive.
Drive in that seat. No, I don't.
Physically, we just don't do that. No, but I think it's definitely allowing my femininity to not find her exhausting. To find playful and pleasure through what she offers.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. What can you do to anchor that in today?
Play.
Definitely. Thank you both so much for letting me serve you. I love you so much.
I love you too. Thank you.
I was like, that's pretty big for Tessa. She's a big advocate for the masculine energy. So I love hearing that come out.
I know.
She's not exhausting. She doesn't have to be. She's not catty all the time. Like sometimes feminine energy is just fun and beautiful.
Well, I feel like Tessa's feminine comes out in experiencing. Like your feminine comes out in play. So it's so fun that you're like, yep, for sure, play, because that's what feminine is. It's the experiencer. When you're in the teachings of Shakti and Shiva, the masculine, he holds space, and like divine masculine, or it doesn't even have to be just that, or just in the teachings of Shakti and Shiva, it's in I don't know about all, but a lot of different ancient teachings where the masculine is the overseer. You know, he looks and he holds space to make sure everything is in place and in order. It's like the benevolent love, you know, of protecting and holding, where like the feminine is the experiencer. She's in it. She's like in creation. So I find that your feminine energy always comes out in your play, for sure.
So she comes out to play when I drink, is what that means.
And that too.
One shot. All right, I'll hold space. You can fucking go now. Go ham.
I want to say, I think whatever we decide that we're doing for next week, when we do an extended, I'm going to put this out now, and I'm going to probably keep putting this out on our Facebook group, that we want one of you guys to come and play with us next week for the extended. So,
Sarah,
if you are going to be available around this time next week and you're on here live, we want you to come play with us. We may put you here on the screen or at least chat with us, and we want some contribution. We want this to be a community thing. So, putting it out there now, and I'm going to keep putting it out all week. We want you guys to show up and play with us.
Awesome.
Definitely.
All right. Well, we're over time.
What? Shocking.
So good. We're 11 minutes over. We started
a little bit late. So, right.
All right. Well, we'll see you next week when you come to play with us, because it'll be so fun.
Yeah, we're intending that now. We know it's happening. We're confident, and it's not important.
And show the fuck up. Okay.
Keep communicating in the groups. Keep showing up. We love to see everyone's participation on just some of the random fun stuff that we're putting up. So that's really cool to see our community grow and keep interacting.
And any subjects, if any subjects are popping up for what you want Misbehaving Mystics to talk about, we would love to, even if it's something we have no idea about, we'd love to research. We have the researcher here.
I will research my little heart out.
Yeah, we'd love to go and dive deeper and figure it out with you. So come play.
Share topic ideas. We've got a ton, but we want to hear what you want to hear too. So put it out there. All right.
Until next week.
Yes.
Adios.
Sticks.
Get into your yonis.
Yeah.
Talk to your yonis.